It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Hello, basketball fans. Ernie Johnson here, joined by Shaquille O'Neal. Kenny
tonight's broadcast here in beautiful Boston. Well, we can finally say it. The NBA regular season is about to get underway. And here at 2K Sports, we couldn't be happier. Along with Greg Anthony, Clark Kellogg, and our sideline reporter Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan. This Boston crowd ready to roar in this Eastern Conference matchup for the Celtics. And they're starting off the season playing Philadelphia here. Last season they won all 4 games, showing complete dominance.
Yeah, and they took care of business against this group last year, winning the season series.
Yeah, Greg, you're right. They're the better team. I mean, they expect to win this matchup. We'll see if they can take care of business tonight.
Look at the 76ers starting group. Wizard out there with J.J. Redick. Then it's Joel Embiid. Then there's Saric. And it's Simmons in at the small forward position. A shot by Hayward. Wide open. Good for the basket. Starting off 1 for 1 with that shot.
And those are the first points of the game.
Nice hoop to get the scoring started there.
It was a tough battle down the stretch, but the Celtics were able to get back into the playoffs last year.
And kind of just hovering around all season. But give them credit. They fought their way in and spent only 1 year out of the postseason in their rebuild.
That drops.
Nice work on the inside. Hard to get that one up and over the big fella.
Well, it's not supposed to be easy down there, and a little artistry on the inside helped him make it happen.
Thomas. And there's the whistle. Foul. Hard on the shot. He'll go to the line.
And Isaiah Thomas, traded last season from Phoenix over to Boston, seemed to be a matter of fit and not production as to why they moved him.
Gerald Green, he's checked in for Brown. You were talking about Isaiah Thomas. He had no love lost for the Suns in their first meeting. He took them apart, Clark, on the floor. Remember that game? Stared him down as he was hitting shots. Looked at that bench, man. He had a big chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, and you know, most guys that are a little undersized and in battle doubters all their careers bring that kind of edge anyway. You throw in the fact that he was disappointed how the trade unfolded. He was amped up and ready for that return visit.
And in an era where so many guys take the money and run, Gordon Hayward did the best he could to live up to his new contract. Clark, last year, a 4-year max deal signed heading into last season.
Yeah, and the way max contracts work nowadays, even the upper mid-tier guys are getting them. A trend that will probably continue, at least in the near future. I don't like it, though. There are only a small number of guys that are really max contract players in the NBA.
Now here's Thomas. Hayward outside. And about 2 minutes played here in the first quarter. And Embiid throws it down.
And guys got careless with the ball there, and the turnover leads to the big stuff.
Once he came up right with the steal, he went straight on the attack.
That's exactly the way to do it too, Kevin. Go hard to the bucket and don't let them set up the defense.
And when you get back to Hayward, last year his points per game were way up. But really impressive, his shooting percentages. Were way up. That's a big step forward, I believe, in his development.
Here's the Wizard. Embiid trying to break loose. Good on the shot. The Wizard's got his second bucket of the game to go.
Yeah, heads up aggressive play right there. Saw the smaller man on him and took it straight to the basket.
Here's Green. The shot is off. And it's... Philadelphia the other way.
You know, on the topic of whether Hayward is a true max prospect, he did some things last year to at least argue that he is. He was stronger, a lot more aggressive going to the rim. His defense improved too. He'll need another year of development like that to silence the doubters. They are really doing a nice job establishing a presence inside early.
And watch, Clark, how the game plays out, because this is going to open things up on the perimeter.
Back to Green. And Embiid pulls it down. For Philadelphia, they've gotten 4 of 6 field goal attempts to drop in the first quarter. And they take the lead.
Excellent ball movement there, guys.
And that's keyed this run. Passing it with purpose. The D hasn't been able to keep up.
Well, clearly the 76ers were the youngest team in the league last season, and with all the draft picks they've stockpiled, they'll be the youngest team for a while, it seems. But if the youth can grow and develop, they could also be a force in a few years, too.
So the Celtics called timeout. They're first. To give you an idea of how young this 76er team is, at one point last season, Greg, Tim Duncan had more seasons played in the NBA than the entire active roster of the 76ers.
That's hard to fathom. I mean, we all know there's this youth movement going on in Philadelphia, but they still need some veterans in that locker room. Very hard for the young players to lead.
And watching Jay Crowder, he can really beast you up, you know, Greg, and take you out of your game. One of the most physical wings, I think, in the NBA.
And you know, not the most flexible athlete, but he makes up for that with that strength that you mentioned. It allows him to control the pace. I mean, he's a bumper and a grinder and hitting a big three out of nowhere. So he's what we call a true gamer.
Here's Stauskas. The three-pointer, no good.
Boy, just by his body language, Kevin, you can tell he thought that triple was going to fall.
Yeah, it seemed like he had great rhythm on that. You can see the disappointment in his face.
The basket good off the assist from Hayward.
You know, looking at Jay Crowder, he got traded from Dallas to Boston in the Rondo deal last season. Nobody expected all that much from him. All he did was go out and be... one of the most valuable players on that team.
1:44 left to play in the first quarter. Johnson at the elbow and stolen by Hayward.
Ill-advised pass on that one, guys. I mean, he had to know there was a man there in position to get that turnover.
Here's Shorty. Quiet so far offensively, searching for his first points of the game.
And guys, that's one of the more basic plays in anybody's playbook, but not to mention also truly one of the best.
And Greg, the pick frees him up, and Clark, the dunk, caps it off.
Well, you know, for me, guys, it's all about positioning and anticipation on those screen plays, and they got it right there.
You know, when you talk about Jay Crowder, there are those that you win because of, and then there are guys like him that you win with. I mean, the guy who's going to take the charge, commit the hard foul, do what others won't, really shows the heart of a champion.
And the 76ers decide to take their first time out here. The Celtics making a switch here. Smart's checked in. And so here is Philadelphia. They trail by 3. Shorty the pass to Okafor. There's the feed to Stauskas. Johnson the screen. Shot clock at 6. Okafor and a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2.
Well, guys, once again, the 76ers finished second to last in the East. Amazingly managed to win fewer games against the East than they did the year before, which was 14 wins in 2014.
And he sinks the second. One thing, Greg, about Philadelphia, you talked about this, only 12 wins for them last year against the East.
And Kevin, how about not getting a win against their own conference until December? I mean, as bad as the Sixers were last year, though, they weren't the worst. So sometimes, even for me, I still can't fathom that's the case.
Marcus Smart was drafted to the Celtics as their future point guard. He came in with a lot of work to do and a skill set that people really like. But his first season, Clark, was a roller coaster.
Yeah, it really was. He was an off guard in high school and in his first year of college as well. Really only played full-time at the point the year before he was drafted.
Here's Shorty. He hasn't yet put up any points in this one.
And you can tell the defender not anticipating the step back. He was headed in the opposite direction.
Hayward, left side. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here. And this will be his second and third shots to the line here.
And last season, he was successful 81% of the time when he went to the line, so he didn't waste a lot of opportunities.
And, guys, the numbers don't lie. I mean, he was such a reliable presence at the free throw line all throughout last season.
Shorty, the pass to Okafor. Second chance shot. He takes it up and lays it in.
He was the first one to react to that miss. Excellent anticipation on his part. A hustle play on the putback by him.
Up in time. No good, trying to beat the buzzer. And that concludes. And off we go. A close game now starting the second quarter. What do you guys think about the Celtics here in this one?
Just very aggressive on the offensive side of the ball, attacking the rim in this first quarter. A lot of trips to the free throw line.
Taking full advantage of playing at home, and the fans have really helped them here.
And now let's check out the lineups courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Here's the second quarter of play. And so in the game for the 76ers, they've got Saric, is it out there with J.J. Redick. Then there's Embiid, and it's Simmons in at the 3.
Nice pass. He got the ball right into his teammate's shooting pocket. On time and on target.
Now here's Crowder. Defense is right there. Feeds it to Horford. Dishes it to Thomas. 6 on the shot clock. A shake. And he lays it up and in. Thomas got 5 now.
Nice job getting inside for the layup. Got the D thinking. Jump shot. Gave a little pump fake. And then off to the races.
That puts them in the lead. 7 points for the Wizard.
It is so hard to contain him. He just seems to get it done however he has to do it.
Hayward kicks to Morris. The basket good off the assist from Hayward. And the Celtics lead by 1.
Here it is again. On a lot of their possessions this first half, they've established great position inside.
Yeah, just getting the ball into the post has to be option number 1 for them right now.
A chance here to get a quick injury report.
Kevin, I was able to catch up with the Celtics head athletic trainer. A very somber tone over here on the sideline, guys. It does not look to be good news at all. That's a bitter pill for them to swallow at such an early stage of the season. It really changes the look of this entire team, guys.
Thank you, Doris. Boy, you always hate to see anyone ever deal with any sort of injury.
And almost for every player, it's inevitable. I mean, injuries are going to happen no matter how well you take care of yourself.
And let's just hope the rehab process doesn't drag on any longer than it has to.
Aron Baynes, he's checked in for the Celtics. T comes in for Jay Crowder.
Well, you could see a change in the play with the Celtics after the trade deadline last year. Adding Isaiah Thomas gave them some pop off the bench and really created some balance for them offensively.
And he gets the bucket.
Both teams trading punches back and forth. This thing's like a heavyweight fight.
The momentum swings really impossible to keep track of. The energy in the building just keeps going back and forth, ebbing and flowing. I'm loving it.
Here's Saric. Following the basket by Al Horford. And Simmons kicks to Embiid. Again, Philadelphia. And that was something the Celtics needed, adding Thomas, a player that could come in and provide Clark instant offense for them off the bench.
And, Kevin, I think that was a turning point for them last year. I mean, they saw that they had a chance to make a big leap forward after the trade and responded accordingly.
The 76ers lead. The dish to Simmons. Throws it up high, and Embiid throws it down.
You could see the eye contact there. Gave a little nod and then burst to the rim for the alley-oop slam.
No doubt, Clark. A pair of teammates with a terrific feel for each other out on the floor.
And, guys, anytime it's real tight, you're looking for something that could be potentially a momentum builder. And that's exactly what that play looks to be. And that's how it's done. I mean, find that hole in the D and then go hard to the rack.
Maybe that hole was a little bigger than it should have been.
Well, it was. I mean, a tight game like this one, you'd think they'd have a little more energy at the defensive end than that.
Here's the Wizard. He's got 7, and the basket good. The Wizards got the lead up to 3 now for the 76ers.
Yeah, the chemistry has been terrific. Really impressed with their offensive execution.
You know, the defense, Greg, has really been kept off balance because of the outstanding passes. 4 straight field goals have been made off an assist.
Now here's Thomas. He has 5. He made that one. Basket number 3 for him. He's also missed 2.
Man, have they been effective at getting the ball inside.
I tell you, we're taking a look at some real deficiencies defensively. I mean, they've given up 5 straight good looks in the paint.
And not many people expected anyone from the Atlantic to do much last season. Boston was the surprise of the division as they ended up making the playoffs.
And the 76ers call time here. As the teams head into this timeout, a chance for the coaches now to map out some plays for the next few minutes and a chance for the players to rehydrate with some Gatorade. That's important if they want to make sure they don't wear down later in the game.
Absolutely. Over the course of a game, you have to stay hydrated.
Looking at who's out there now for the Celtics. Clutch is checked in for Aron Baynes. Brown comes in for Gordon Hayward. And Marcus Smart is subbed in for Isaiah Thomas. Brown kicks to Horford. Can't hit.
Those are chances. Almost always you can rely on him to get you 2 points, but the D just enough to keep him out of rhythm.
1:49 left in the first half of the game.
And he is the ultimate when it comes to being a floor leader on the offensive end.
Yeah, you know, he's got a little bit of Greg Anthony in it. And he has been that leader today. I think he's done a really nice job of moving the ball and distributing it the way it needs to be done.
Well, Clark, I'm glad you referenced specifically why you thought he had a little Greg Anthony. I thought you were talking about the knees, man. He looked a little hobbled out there for a moment.
They get a hand on it. It's stolen by Brown. And now with the fast break, Smart with the ball. Here's T. Good, and Smart gets the assist. T's got 5 now. For Philadelphia, they've gone a superb 7 of 7 from the field here in the second. They set the pick. Okafor dishes to Stauskas. Clock at 6. Back to Okafor. Offensive rebound. Johnson. Count that one. Johnson's got 4 points this quarter. Well, guys, this first half has been about as tightly contested as you could hope for.
Well, neck and neck. How about that? I mean, ferociously competitive. I mean, tight as me in an airplane bathroom.
That's not the visual I was looking for right now, but there have been a lot of lead changes. My goodness.
Now here's Johnson. Again, Philadelphia.
And, fellas, in this quarter, he's improved on what was already a very good performance in period number 1.
T, the pass to Clutch. 15 seconds left in the second quarter. Out of bounds, Philadelphia takes possession.
And you know what? His mind's playing tricks on him right now because he's not going to live that one going down easily.
We've got 13 seconds left in the second quarter. And it's Shorty with the foul. That's foul number 2 for him.
Yeah, really good defensive play to cut him off there and square up.
Excellent example of toughness and physicality on defense. Got his nose right in the middle of things and made a play.
Here's Hayward. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
And with the offense getting right to the rim, at least they saved the layup.
Old school D right there, just telling them no easy layups. It's as simple as that. And that's what you expect from them.
And good on the second, so he makes them both.
And that's another area where he is just a superb player. Excellent at the free throw line.
You know what? And the first half comes to a close. We've got a close game going on here. 76ers lead by 1. We'll see you back here after the break for third quarter basketball.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Ernie Johnson here again with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. And an exciting time of the year as the first game of the regular season is halfway through. For the 76ers, the first quarter was pretty even. Some good moments from both teams, but as the first period wrapped up, they trailed by 2. The second quarter was a strong effort for them as they continued to battle, and they were able to close out the half in a good position. And time now to send you back down to the floor with Kevin Harlan.
It's been a back-and-forth game so far with no ground given through the first. Third quarter starting here now.
Looking at the game for Hayward, he has 11 points, and the contribution from the line for him, he's made 5 free throws.
And he hasn't been afraid to draw a little bit of contact on his way to the basket. Some guys shy away from that.
Hayward out there with Marcus Morris. Then there's Brown. Then it's Thomas. And it's Horford in at the center, filling out the middle. That's the group for Brad Stevens getting going here in the second half. Here's Embiid after the basket by Boston. There's the screen. And the wide open shot from Redick. Knocks down the 3 ball. Redick's got... ...5 points so far.
You know, there's no better sign of how efficiently a team is operating than their assist numbers. And theirs are fantastic.
Just beautiful when they play the game like this.
Here's Simmons to the paint. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact and he'll shoot 2.
And, you know, J.J. Redick has shown steady improvement in his game. He entered the league as a spot shooter off the bench. Last season, averaged over 30 minutes a game for the Clippers. He's come a long way.
T's checked in for Brown. And Redick has improved every phase of his game over every year, especially in the area of efficiency. Shooting over 47% from the field last year. Looking to break that by far the highest in his career.
Yeah, and his mid-range jumper last year, just automatic. The turnovers per minute averaged also ridiculously low. Even improved as a defender.
And Philadelphia has possession after the basket by Boston. Embiid inside, guarded by Horford. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Lays it up, and despite of the excellent defense at that, Embiid's got the lead up to 4 now for the 76ers. Hayward kicks to Horford. To the inside, Thomas. And the bucket counts, and he's on his way to the free throw line. Try to make it a 3-point play.
3 for 3, and that's always a good way to start the second half.
Look at Isaiah Thomas, and he's been getting it done. He's got 10 points, and he's added a steal to his stat line also.
You know what? The number is not huge, but he has been doing some valuable defensive work for them.
Here's Simmons. Here's the Wizard. Another 3 for Philadelphia.
You know, maybe he's not one of the elite sharpshooters, but even still, that's not a shot that D can afford to give him.
Redick with the rebound.
Oh, he knows that one should have gone in. That hurts.
Simmons dishes to Redick. Embiid, the pass to Sarge. And he gets it to go. And it's a 6-point Philadelphia lead.
Another pass put right into the shooter's pocket, right in the shooting pocket for a terrific assist. They've done a lot of that today.
And it's something we haven't seen much of at the opposite end of the floor.
Now a timeout called by Boston. And some changes here for the Celtics. Aron Baynes, he's checked in for Horford. Crowder comes in for Morris, and Marcus Smart is subbed in for Isaiah Thomas. Well, the plan has been obvious now, Clark, for a while. The 76ers really loading up on young players, letting them see a lot of minutes, and they're hoping it's going to bear some fruit, as you like to say, coming up.
Exactly, and it will in time because they've accumulated some really nice young talent, Kevin.
Now here's Hayward, 13 points in the game. Teardrop shot. The shot will not go. Now the Celtics take it the other way.
And with the 76ers, it's not just on the floor that they have stifled the progress. They've taken 2 top picks knowing they would sit out a full year just to rehab injury.
Here's the Wizard. And there's the pass to Sarge. Pass to Embiid. Here's Simmons, defended by Hayward. And Simmons kicks to Embiid. Pick off in midair. And now with the fast break, Smart.
Oh, wow.
It's a beautiful jam.
Yeah, how about the sharp steal and then run out? It looks like they're ready to put the hammer down.
Well, we've been waiting for one of these teams, Greg, to pull away. Maybe that'll be a springboard for them.
Could be. A dunk like that coming off a great defensive play has to build some momentum.
That Kia Slam Cam replay really gave you a good look at the action. Timeout called the 76ers.
And I think taking a time here to talk things over is a smart idea.
One of the things you want to do is make sure everybody is clearly on the same page with the game plan. And sometimes you need a timeout to make sure that's the case.
And some changes here for the Celtics. Horford comes in for Aron Baynes, and Thomas subbed in for Smart. And the 76ers also making a change. Robert Covington's checked in for Sarge. Now here's Redick. He has 7. What a season for Al Horford last year. Such a great display from him and his team as he led the Hawks to the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference.
And for all the team accomplishments the Hawks had, Horford was able to hit some of his own milestones as well. Had his first career triple-double last season.
And Philadelphia making a change here. Okafor's checked in. Johnson comes in for the prodigy. Nick Stauskas is checked in for J.J. Redick. And it's Shorty in for the Wizard. Here's Stauskas. No scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. And stolen by Horford. And here we go again. The Celtics in transition. Oh! And Clark, a great competitive game so far.
Yeah, tit for tat. I mean, back and forth, plenty of lead changes, and excellent play.
And from the look of it, this one could go right down to the wire.
And Philadelphia has possession. Shorty, the pass to Johnson. It's stolen. Hayward outside. Good work defensively by Johnson. Philadelphia's gone 3 of 5 from beyond the arc so far tonight. Here's Shorty, guarded by Horford. Shorty, the pass to Stauskas. Johnson outside. Shot clock at 6. Here's Okafor. The turnaround jumper. Count it. Okafor's got 5 now.
How much do you love to see the turnaround? A bit of a slow start to the career of Nick Stauskas. Was a highly touted rookie a year ago, but had a hard time finding minutes early on last year. That will change as he becomes more experienced.
Now a timeout called by Boston. And last season, Clark, Stauskas' minutes grew with his play. At the end of the season, he was a big rotation guy.
Yeah, and it wasn't just his scoring or ability to shoot that he displayed. I mean, we know he can shoot the ball, but he showed he's a very smart player in the half court and pretty good passer, too.
Green, he's checked in for the Celtics. Smart comes in for Isaiah Thomas. Passes it to Shorty. 46 seconds left in the third quarter. For three, Stauskas. Rebound by the Celtics. 2-for-1 chance here.
Let's see if they use the clock to their advantage.
T, the pass to Green. And he makes no mistake on the slam dunk.
How about that fantastic finish and the aggressive move, too, Kevin?
Trying to send a message, Clark, with that slam, I think.
And I'm not sure if it was text or email, but he definitely threw that one down.
Here's Shorty. 17 seconds left here in the third quarter. He kicks it to Okafor. Philadelphia needs to get a shot off. Stauskas inside the line. He drains it as the shot clock ticks down. And the 76ers lead by 1. Now Smart. 3 seconds left, and the serious dunk to finish it off.
And Kevin, who says a point guard should look to pass first? I mean, not when you can finish like this fella.
Well, and the game still closely contested as we end the third quarter. Celtics out in front, up 1. And fourth quarter basketball will be coming your way on 2K Sports right after this. All right, we welcome you back to what's been a hard-fought battle. Fourth quarter should be good. So on the floor for Philadelphia, they've got Embiid. J.J. Redick is out there with the Wizard. Then there's the Prodigy, and it's Saric in at the 4. And Embiid throws it down.
And I'm sensing something special going on here tonight.
It certainly does have the feeling of a classic, Greg. Let's see which team is better equipped to handle the pressure.
Brown against Redick. Hayward kicks to Horford. Fires the 3. Kept alive by Boston.
They've clearly been the better team on the glass, but it hasn't necessarily translated to the scoreboard yet.
Yeah, but over a full game, I like their energy. And if they can maintain that level of effort, I think it bodes well for them down the stretch. Almost an impossible shot to block in the post. The defender can't give up that much of a height advantage and expect to contest it.
Now a timeout called by Boston.
Well, you know, last season I thought the Celtics made some strong waves in the East. I mean, they kept fighting and fighting all season long, and they ended up in the playoffs because of that never-give-up attitude.
Doris Burke has an update for us. Doris?
Hi, guys. Over that break, I was able to catch the message Brad Stevens was giving to his team. He doesn't think they've been giving it their all, saying they've been quicker to rebounds, to every loose ball. We got to wake up. The game's slipping away, and we're letting it happen. We have got to take control of this thing. We'll see if he lit a fire under him, guys.
Shot clock at 6. And Thomas, here we go, and it's blocked. The 76ers leading by 3. Pass to Saric. Bank shot, no good. And for the Celtics, 28 of their 40 wins on the season came against the East. Not impressive, but it got the job done in a conference which could be had at times out there.
So that's true, but what should be noted, Kevin, about the Celtics against the East is just how well they played against the Eastern Conference playoff teams.
Right.
I mean, against the East top 8, they shot a lot better and executed a lot better as well. So you can see them stepping up their game against the competition.
Here's Crowder. Offensive rebound, Celtics. Embiid comes with a double team. And Philadelphia has possession. The 76ers have gone 2 of 4 from the field since we started the final quarter of play. Here's the Wizard. The shot, no good. So the Celtics will take it the other way. They'll be playing host to Toronto for the next one. They'll find themselves in the middle of this string of 3 straight at home. And Hayward gets it to go.
And they'll be counting on even more points from him. That's essential if they're going to pull this game out.
And Marcus Morris is nicknamed Mook. He has a twin brother, older by 7 minutes, named Markeith. Both brothers played at Kansas, drafted 13th and 14th in the same year. Eventually played for the same pro team. That is joined at the hip.
And Philadelphia calls time here. And looking at the Morris brothers' careers through last season, the one area they haven't been joined at the hip in is in performance. Markeith has shown steady improvement over his first 4 years. Marcus Morris has had a very up and down start to his career.
And you know, Kevin, Marcus has talent. He has versatility. He just hasn't found his role. It's time for him to step out of his brother's shadow and really establish who he is as a player.
And guys, the Sixers drafted Embiid 3rd overall despite a foot injury that would keep him out all of his rookie season. Came to the Sixers with a back issue out of Kansas. Of course, they knew all this going in.
Yeah. And Kevin, the Sixers have made an art here lately of drafting players who aren't immediately eligible to play. 2 years ago it was Nerlens Noel, who sat out the season with a knee injury. Last year it was Dario Saric, who played overseas, and now Embiid.
They've stepped up their three-point shooting game in the second half. They're letting it fly out there with reckless abandon.
Not lacking in confidence, and I really like that. Sometimes you see teams get conservative once they get a lead, playing not to lose.
Time called here. The Celtics decide to talk it over.
You know, regarding Joel Embiid, the foot was not his only injury when he entered the draft. In his one season at Kansas, he battled both back and knee injuries. Obviously, though he's very young, his durability is of some concern.
Here's what Boston's going with right now. Aron Baynes, he's checked in for T. Hayward comes in for Green, and it's Isaiah Thomas in for Smart. The Wizard passes to Simmons. Redick for 3. Another 3 for Philadelphia.
And talking about Joel Embiid, there are some who feel the Sixers targeted guys in the draft last year who couldn't help them win games. One wonders at what point does it become anti-competitive.
And a moment to look at the scoring approach in terms of where the points are coming from for the 76ers.
They keep piling up the assists, and they haven't cooled off at all.
They've repeatedly gotten out on the break tonight as well and scored a lot of baskets in transition.
We've played just over 3.5 minutes now in the fourth quarter. Here's Simmons, defended by Crowder. Redick, a good look, and the whistle blows, and it's going to be an over-the-back call here.
Yeah, no doubt about that one with the over-the-back call.
Yeah, it looked like he wanted to take him for a ride right there. Easy call.
And the official signaled the backcourt violation. Not very careful there.
And, you know, the NBA loves to experiment with different rules in different ways. The D-League last season used international rules for goaltending. And that small change makes a huge impact on the defensive end.
the 2K Sports pregame show.
Early season's greetings, NBA fans. I'm Ernie Johnson. Thanks for joining us. Got Shaquille O'Neal here. Got Kenny the Jet Smith here for this edition of the NBA on 2K Sports. For tonight's game, we'll be watching the Boston Celtics as they go up against...
Everyone in their seats here in Boston to watch the Celtics on the home court. So for the Celtics, their last game, a loss to Toronto.
Yeah, they lost the momentum, and it's a bit surprising that one got away from them, because for long stretches, they were the better team.
Well, if you only looked at the stat sheet, you'd have a hard time figuring out how they lost it. I mean, it was a case of a few small things, some of the intangibles that didn't go their way in the end.
All right, let's hit the floor, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. On the court for San Antonio, the always reliable Parker and Green in the backcourt. Aldridge out there with Kawhi Leonard. And it's Gasol in at the 5 down low. Both free throws good from Isaiah Thomas.
And listen, San Antonio is an older team, actually the oldest in the league last season. And because of injuries and days off, they didn't get to feel that preferred starting 5 a lot last year.
And Boston has possession. Hayward outside. In the corner, Crowder with it. And Hayward with the stuff.
Flying high and throwing down the hard one-hander.
One of his favorite moves right there, guys.
And really, he does that one as well as anyone. Kev, you're right. That's like his signature move once he goes airborne.
Aldridge wide open, he fires. And again, it's San Antonio with a 3.
Yeah, poor job defensively, giving him such a clear look at the basket from three-point range.
Morris inside. Aldridge is covering. Leonard attacking, and he gets it to go.
Defensively, that possession better not start a trend, because they just handed him 2 points. Listen, Kawhi Leonard hasn't been in the league for a long time, but he's feeling right at home. Said last season he wants to remain a Spur for life.
Now here's Hayward. It's tipped. That'll be Boston as it goes out of bounds. Celtics retain possession.
And you know what? Just a little too much heat on that pass for him to come up with the steal.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that was going to be a tough catch for either one of them.
Little over a minute 30 into this first quarter. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it. And